now, obviously, Davies has opted for Alfie May, and I thought he was outstanding against Wrexham. He pulled them from pillar to post. We noticed he was breaking the lines. The Wrexham didn't really know what to do with him. He was creating pockets of space in other areas of the pitch. So if Davies is going to continue with this and follow through with this, it's going to have to be Alfie May. And I have no problem with that because he was outstanding. So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And there's no doubt about it, going into this season, we all knew that we were going to have a big reset in the squad this year. And we brought 17 players in. At moments, it's felt magical. It's been stressful. You know, that transfer market, especially on deadline day, was an emotional roller coaster. But we thought we'd do a video today, and it's about our best starting 11. So we're going to assume we have every single player available to us in the Birmingham City squad. And me and Dad are going to go back and forth in each position, talking about who we think is best for that position, ultimately deciding on our best starting 11. So, Dad, should we get the ball rolling immediately off the bat? I don't know if you've got any comments before we do start, but the first position we'll obviously go for is going to be goalkeeper.
I think, just to reiterate what you said, really, I think this is a good problem that Chris Davies has got. So he's got this strong squad now, and obviously we've got depth in every single position. So what we're going to do in this podcast is just discuss who we think the best player or the first choice player should be in each of the positions, assuming, as you mentioned, that everybody's available and fit.
Yep.
And what a great problem to have.
Yeah.
What an absolutely fantastic headache for Chris Davies. Think, well, actually, I've got all these players. Who's the best player to pick? Yeah. And people may argue that the selection might depend upon the opposition and various things. So we're taking a very generalistic view about this, about who is best in that position, right? So should we start off? We'll go from back to front.
Yep.
Okay. Let's start off in goalkeeper.
You kick it off for us.
Okay. Now, obviously, two goalkeepers. Well, we've got three if you count Bradley Mayo, but Chris Davies has been selecting Bailey Peacock-Farrell, hasn't he? He has done okay. You know, he's been solid enough in certain games, but we haven't kept a clean sheet yet in the league at the time of recording. And he has cost us some goals. And I think that Allsop is good enough to have a chance now. I'm not saying anything wrong. I'm not on the bandwagon of trying to get Peacock-Farrell out the team. But I just think if I'm a manager, I'm saying to Bailey Peacock-Farrell, okay, to improve your game, I'm going to give Allsop a chance now because you've made the job mistake. See what he can do. And then that should inspire Bailey Peacock-Farrell. Well, actually, if I want to get back in the team, I'll need to up my game even further. So my choice as goalkeeper would be Allsop. He would be my first choice.
Yeah. It seems a bit harsh, don't it, on paper, because Bailey Peacock-Farrell's played all of our league games, and he has made a couple of errors, and there definitely has been moments of sloppiness. But Allsop played in the cup against Charlton, saved a penalty, kept a clean sheet. It's funny, Dad. Me and you were talking at the Walsall game, weren't we? We have mentioned this on a previous video. We said, Allsop's distributions is brilliant. In the first 10-20 minutes, it was awful.
In the Walsall game, it improved significantly after that.
But a really good keeper. I think I'm going to back you, Dad. I think our strongest goalkeeper that we have on paper, not even on paper, that we've seen, I think is Allsop as well.
Yeah, and I think that at some point we'll see him get a chance in the league games as first choice, but that's what we think.
Controversial question, Dad. Okay, controversial, not I guess, maybe, but do you think actually we have a strong enough keeper? Do you think Bailey Peacock-Farrell and Allsop, between the pair of them, are good enough?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Allsop, for example, he was the first choice goalkeeper for Hull City in the team that nearly made the playoffs in the Championship. Yeah. He played 30 plus games for them, and so obviously you're not going to be a bad keeper if you're doing that. Bailey Peacock-Farrell, I think it's an opportunity for him because I don't think he's ever established himself as a proper number one in any team he's been. He's always been the backup goalkeeper. So yeah, I think they're two really good goalkeepers. I'd rather have these two than some of the, with respect, some of the other goalkeepers we've had. Although, I could look back. John Ruddy was okay. His distribution was terrible, but he was never designed to be a keeper to play in that type of system.
John Ruddy wouldn't have worked under Chris Davies.
No, that's what I'm saying.
He would never have worked. And the only reason I ask you that is because, again, there's just been a little bit on social media around, do we have the strongest keepers at our disposal? And I think where we are right now as a League One team, I think they're two perfect keepers. But I must admit, if we do get promoted, not jumping the gun, and we do go back to the Championship and we are challenging, I think we will need to strengthen this position at a higher level.
Yeah, because it's a hypothetical question at the moment because the transfer window's closed. That's what we've got.
No, exactly.
But it's a good question about,
And I'm happy, by the way. I like them both.
Yeah.
And it almost comes back down to a flip of a coin. I've picked Allsop, but Bailey Peacock-Farrell's right behind him. There's barely anything in between them.
Yeah, and they can both play as well, which is what Chris Davies wants.
Yeah.
Okay, so we both agree that in our first choice would be Allsop. I'd love to know what your thoughts are about who you think should be the first choice goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Let's go from left to right, then we'll go with left back.
Tough position, isn't it? Because we've got Cochrane in there who has been absolutely outstanding. I know you love Cochrane, don't you, Dad? You bang that drum a lot. You know, he's one of your favourite signings. I love him too, especially as a left back as a kid. But we have Buchanan, who's also a left back as well.
Yeah.
I think from the momentum we have with Cochrane in the team, the way he started, I can't not say no to Cochrane. I think Cochrane's our strongest left back.
I got nothing against Buchanan. I like Buchanan. I loved it when he came last season. He did well, solid player. In fact, at times he was our best player.
Yeah.
But to me, Cochrane is outstanding. He's a proper player. You know, he defensively strong. He put a tackle in. He's good going forward, and so that cross for the Stansfield goal against Wrexham was absolutely fantastic. So all day long for me, it'd be Cochrane.
Yeah.
I think Buchanan has got a job on his hands to get his place back. He might get in for if he's injured or Cochrane's injured or stuff like that. But yeah, nothing wrong again. Strength in depth. Buchanan's a good player, but for me, all day long, Cochrane.
I mean, Cochrane and Buchanan as left back, one covering the other. What a position, But so we both agree Cochrane at left back.
Yeah, I know. I said we go left to right, and we'll do that. So we'll do the centre halves now before we do the right back. So we'll do two centre half positions.
So for me, these two have to go to Bielek and Clara. I don't need to say any more. Do I need to say much more?
No, you don't.
They are both just absolutely.
No,
I think Bielek is the best centre half in the League One.
Yeah.
Arguably could be one of the best centre halves in the Championship. I think he's fantastic. Clara as well. Brick walls. The pair of them are brick walls, and they are just absolutely incredible. And the way they've adapted to Chris Davies' style of play, they make us tick at the back. Yeah, two fantastic centre halves.
I can't argue with that either. I totally agree. Obviously, we've got backups. We've got Ben Davies. We've got Dion Sanderson. And there are other players that can play in those positions, but they've made those positions their own. Clara, to me, again, top signing. Really like him. He's solid. He wins aerial battles. He gets the ball. He scores goals, makes assists. He's a proper player as well. So, yeah, I would definitely go for Bielek and Clara.
I will say, though, and this is a very small thing, I've just hyped them up massively. I love Bielek and Clara. But if we do get a team with a lot of pace, they are both not the fastest, but they're centre halves. You know, you can't have everything. You know, I think if Clara had pace, he'd be a Premier League, Champions League player. I genuinely believe if he had like real legs on him. But they both are a little bit on the slower side. Not knocking them. Fantastic centre halves.
I think we both agree on that as well. And then, interesting position. We come to right back.
So for me, I think Ethan Laird has been really good this season. You know, we've all spoke about his distribution in terms of his final delivery. You know, he gets up the pitch well. I think when he's on the pitch, we look a lot more dangerous on the right-hand side. And I think Davies has gave him instructions to stay quite high up the pitch, hasn't he? Because he's almost been like a right winger to some extent in certain games. So
notice when he's up the pitch as well, Clara will cut across if there's an attack as well. So which
that's what happened against Wickham, but sadly it did end in an own goal. But just backing up your point, that's exactly what happened. Right, Clara shifted over to the right back. So for me, I think Ethan Laird's our first team right back. For me personally,
I think I would as well because I haven't seen enough of Alphonse Stamsted. So I'm not. Obviously, we've seen little cameo appearances in games, but he's an Icelandic international, so he ain't going to be a bad player. But I think Laird is our strongest right back at the moment. Yeah, he's prone to sometimes not having the end product. Or that we have seen signs that is improving.
Passing as well sometimes needs to get a bit sharper.
Yeah. So I think for me, obviously he's been playing Gardner Hickman in there, but Gardner Hickman's not a natural right back.
He's done all right, though.
Yeah, no, he has done all right as well. But I wouldn't pick him as our strongest right back. Yeah. I think Laird is an out-and-out right back, isn't he? That's his position. So definitely, I'd go for Laird as well.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So, Dan, I'm going to fire this one to you because this one has kept me up for a while, and we'll start in the midfield just to have a bit of variety. So, let's start with the two centre mids then.
Right, Paik definitely, absolutely. He seems to be almost like a Rolls Royce play. You know, he's hard when you're watching him. Sometimes you're just watching him. He's just so sometimes so slick with the ball. And he joins up the play really well. So for me, Paik is a definite there. And I've changed this one. I had Mark Leonard in there as mine, but from what I've seen in the Wrexham game, I've gone for a Water.
Yeah.
I'd pick him. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'd pick him above Leonard.
Yeah, off the back of that performance,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
But I mean, what a great problem to have. I mean, I was laughing. Me and the bloke sitting next to me, dad at St.Andrews, we were having a laugh. We both looked at each other and said, "As if Leonard's coming off on the bench." Like that's the firepower we have coming off on the bench. It's absolutely insane. However, I will back you up on that. I do think Owata, after the back of that Wrexham performance, it was outstanding. I think Paik and Owata complement each other better.
Yeah.
They work together better. They seem more in sync together. However, there will be certain games where we need Leonard. So
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. Owata, for me, I'm with you. And Paik in the middle. They're our first team centre mids for me. But there will be games where Leonard will be more effective, I think.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of
Exactly.
strength in depth. So
Yeah.
all we're doing really now is picking what we think is the strongest player in those positions if they're all available. But there's going to be games when other players will suit that game
Yeah.
or suit. And they've got obviously suspensions, injuries, all those
Yeah.
type of things. But what a signing! I mean, I literally, we've mentioned this before. He went completely under the radar because Jay Stansfield on deadline day, and he. The performance against Wrexham was outstanding, and I think he's going to be a proper player for us. I mean, none of these players are going to be immune to making mistakes, by the way. So they're all going to have bad days and off games and stuff, make mistakes. But I think overall, from what I've seen for Owata, I think he's going to be great. So I've gone for Owata and Paik as central midfielders.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So should we go on the left then? Left side of the attacking mid.
Yeah, this is a bit of a, obviously Hansen's there. We've got potentially Yokoyama. Anderson can play there as well. Or you could even play a Stansfield there if you wanted to as well. So we've got lots of choice on the left, haven't we? I've plumbed for Hansen on the basis that he's naturally a left winger. I think he's going to come really good. I do, and he hasn't done anything bad, by the way. But he obviously goes around players and he links up the play well. But we've mentioned this before in other players as well. There does need to be more end product with him. But I think the potential's there for Hansen. I like him as a player.
I like Hansen.
I'd pick Hansen. I think Yokoyama is at this stage. He's a young player. I think we'll see him in patches through the season, and he'll develop as he gets older and stronger. He'll be a real good player as well. But where we do need pace, Yokoyama might come on as a sub. But I think as a starter, I'd go for Hansen.
I mean, with the way we're playing, we are shattering teams out on about the 70-minute mark. So imagine if you're a right back, you're exhausted because we've been pinging the ball around, and Yokoyama comes on, one of the fastest players.
Yeah.
That's a frightening prospect in and of itself. So I think Yokoyama for this season, especially the first half of the season, is going to be more of an impact sub.
Yeah,
I think he's going to come off on the bench and make a difference, and there's no problem with that. I think he's a good player. We saw that assist, didn't we, Dad, at Wickham when he came on, dribbled it past, got it in for Harris, which was a great goal. But I'm with you. I would go for Hansen on the left, and same as you, Dad. I really like Hansen. He's done nothing wrong necessarily. I think he's a good player. I want to see more end product, and I want him to be a little bit more effective in games. Like he's good. He can go past players. He cuts in. He has got variety in his game. But I want him sometimes just to get it and go and not hold back. Just run and blitz. And I think sometimes he over touches it or overplays it a little bit. Whereas just get amongst it, and don't overthink it. But good player and happy with Hansen.
Yeah, and you go for him as well, Lynn?
I would.
Okay, what about on the right?
So this has all changed. One, when Stansfield came in, Dad, and two, since the Wrexham game, because we thought Davies was going to fit Stansfield into the right attacking mid, didn't we? And have Alfie May in the 9 and then Williamson in the 10. That's what we thought we would set up. But against Wrexham, we had Williamson on the right, May in the 10 and Stansfield up top, which looks like it's working because, we can come on to 10 and 9 in a second. So if we assume that we're going to carry on the Wrexham way, we have Williamson, Anderson. I miss anyone else on the right there?
Possibly Stansfield.
Possibly Stansfield as well.
Yeah, Scott Wright.
Scott Wright, yeah. I forget about some of the players we've got. So I think for me, if we're going to assume that Davies is going to follow the pattern we have with Wrexham, I think Williamson's arguably our strongest right winger.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna. Everything you said is correct in terms of the way Chris Davies has set the side up now against Wrexham, and that took us by surprise a little bit. But in my opinion, our best right winger, based upon what we've seen this season so far, is Keshi Anderson. In my opinion, and I would put him because I like his physical ability. When we played against Leyton Orient, he put himself about, and he had a couple of chances, didn't he? In fact, he score against Leyton Orient.
He did.
He did, yeah. I would go. I think Keshi Anderson has earned the right, despite all these other players that have came in and really good quality players. In my opinion, I believe Keshi Anderson has earned the right to have that right wing slots.
There's something about Williamson's height and his physicality, and he gives us something different, doesn't he? A bit of a different outlet. But I'm a big Keshi Anderson fan. I think he's been outstanding this season. Of course, he's picked up a little bit of a knock, hasn't he? That's why he hasn't technically been starting.
He came on
He did come
against as a sub against Wrexham, so I think he's on his way back.
Yeah, he did come on. But I don't know. There's something about the height of Williamson. I think he's very talented. And
Yeah, but do you think that's effective on the right-hand side, though? Because it's fine if he's a number 10 because he can have balls going into him. But if he's the right winger, he's got to put the balls in.
Just the fact it's a physical league.
Yeah.
He gives us something extra
I
regardless
think
of position.
there's an element of physicalness about Keshi Anderson.
Oh, he's very physical.
Yeah.
No, Keshi Anderson's a very physical player, no doubt about it. And also as well, the reason why this is a problem now is because before the Wrexham game, Williamson would have been my go-to number 10.
Yeah.
He would have been my number 1, number 10 choice, Williamson. But now, if he is going to go with Alfie May, then where do we play Williamson? And the only other option for him is to be out on the right. And from my opinion, we can have difference of opinions. I think Williamson's going to be our strongest attacking right.
I think Anderson would be great. Interesting to know what you Blues fans think about that. Who do you think our best first choice should be on the right-hand side of our midfield, right wing, whatever you want to call it? I think Keshi Anderson. Matt thinks Williamson.
Mm-hmm.
And then we come on to our number 10.
So this would have been Williamson.
Yeah.
But now, obviously, Davies has opted for Alfie May, and I thought he was outstanding against Wrexham. He pulled them from pillar to post. We noticed he was breaking the lines. The Wrexham didn't really know what to do with him. He was creating pockets of space in other areas of the pitch. So if Davies is going to continue with this and follow through with this, it's going to have to be Alfie May. And I have no problem with that because he was outstanding. If it wasn't Alfie May, it'd be Williamson. But for the interest of this video, Alfie May.
I was surprised when I saw the starting lineup against Wrexham. Because Chris Davies had already tried this against Walsall in the EFL Trophy and it hadn't worked.
Yeah.
But obviously 2 weeks of training has made a massive difference because I feel now that Alfie May in the number 10 position is going to open a lot of doors for our other players. Because how do you mark Alfie May? He's like a little bee buzzing around. How do you track him? Yeah. He's everywhere, isn't he?
He's aggressive as well.
And what happened against Wrexham is that they were trying to mark him in the number 10, and he was all over the place, and that was opening pockets of space in other areas. So I think I agree with you that now that Stansfield has joined us, that Alfie May will be the number 10, but Alfie May in that role is going to be prepared to score less goals. He will still score goals in that position without a doubt, and then allow the team to score more goals. So he's almost like going to sacrifice a few goals to be in that position so that the team as a whole can score more goals. And this is a team game.
Yeah. I mean, that wouldn't be a problem, but we've got Stansfield up front. So, as in the goals that May is not going to score, Stansfield's going to pick up. So, it's a perfect problem to have. It means May can distribute more to the team. And also, as well, those roles might become interchangeable. So, May and Stansfield, you might see them swapping a little bit. Or, you might see quite a lot of movement, liquid kind of movement around the attacking part of the pitch, And there's no problem with that because there might be certain positions in games where Stansfield drops in a little bit, May goes a little bit further, and then it's May in the 10 and Stansfield further up. So those two might interchange quite a lot as well as the season goes on, depending on our position, depending on where we are. But I mean, we've kind of answered the next question in that, Dad. So I think Alfie May in the 10, and of course feeding into Stansfield in the 9.
Yeah, Stansfield, you're not going to spend all those millions of pounds on a player and put him on the bench. It's got to be Jay Stansfield.
First league goal
and actually proved against Wrexham that, like he mentioned, didn't he? You mentioned in the post-match video that Stansfield has said that he wants to add those tapping goals. And he did that. He got in those positions because he was in that position. I think when he was last season played, he was playing in a slightly deeper position so he could run onto the ball, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But I think that spearhead role, particularly in the Wrexham game, suited him because he was in the right position. So I think there's a good point you made as well about how they could potentially interchange between May and Stansfield. But I do like the idea of Alfie May buzzing around everywhere, taking players out of position, freeing space for the rest. It worked a treat against Wrexham. And if that's what Chris Davies is planning, I just think for Alfie May, he won the Golden Boot, didn't he, last season? I think he's going to have to accept that he might score a few less goals. He won't stop scoring because he's Alfie May, isn't he? But he will maybe have to sacrifice a few goals for the betterment of the team so the team as a whole can score more goals. But this is a team game. And if we want to win things and progress, that's what we have to do. So
I think Alfie May's loving it. I think he's loving life at Birmingham. He's clearly loving his new salary because we paid him a fortune. Happy days for Alfie May. I think he's really enjoying it. He's got a connection with the fans. We all love him. I think he enjoys the club. He enjoys playing outside of in front of a packed out St.Andrews. So I don't think he's got any problem in the number 10 chipping him through. my point is, he's not going to look at Stansfield and go, "Oh, he's scoring loads of goals, and I'm not." Alfie May will be like, "Yes, we're winning as a team."
Yeah.
That's his mentality. He's a
Yeah.
winner. And what I love about May is his aggression. You
Yeah.
might not. It's pretty subtle actually, but he's a leader.
Yeah.
He's a leader. He leads the line he's on. He's very aggressive. He's very vocal. When we went to the Walsall game down in the cup, all you could hear was Alfie May. I mean, because he was in the 10 and it wasn't quite working, he was literally by us quite a lot, weren't he?
Yeah,
And you could hear him shouting in a good way, being supportive, rallying his teammates. So, I mean, the Wrexham games kind of caused a few headaches there, hasn't it, Dad, in terms of positioning and players? But, all good problems to have.
It is, and it shows the depth of squad, because there's lots of players we haven't even pretty much spoke about very much that are still in that squad that will get opportunities. But, we've just decided to, have a chat really about what we think the best starting 11 would be if everyone is actually fit. So some great choices and a very strong team.
So we agree on everything apart from the right mid there. So I've gone for Williamson and you've gone for Keshi Anderson. So I think that's a fair point to bring to the viewers. What's your thoughts on that attacking right mid? Do you think Williamson or do you think Anderson? No right or wrong answers really. Both great players.
Well, Anderson is right.
Don't say that. Buy you a point in the next game. Everyone that comments Anderson gets a free point.
Don't say that on a podcast. We'll end up costing us a fortune.
Joking. Disclaimers coming up now. That was a joke. But no, Dad, I think that's really good discussion, really interesting. I mean, any final thoughts that you?
No, I'm absolutely chuffed to bits with the quality of the squad that we've got, and the strength in depth. When we obviously go to games now and we're bringing substitutes on, all of them are top quality players, and in the past we haven't had that. We've had to, maybe sort of move players around and not have the strength in depth. So it's great to be in this position.
We didn't even mention like Lyndon Dykes or Yuki, or there's a couple of players who haven't even got a mention just because of the depth that we've got and the squad
Lyndon
that we
Dykes
have.
as well.
Exactly.
It's hard to keep track of all the players we've got. I mean, it's amazing, really, isn't it? But it's good. It's good to have that, and I think we have got even with players out, we've still got a big, strong squad now. So it's fantastic.
Absolutely. Brilliant problems to have, isn't it?
Yeah.
But as always, Blues fans, we'd love to hear from you. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you agree with our picks? Do you have some different opinions? This is the beautiful thing about football. It's all about opinion. So you might have some different thoughts of yourself. So please let us know what your favourite and best starting 11 would be if we had hypothetically all players available and fit at Birmingham City. And as I said, please drop us a comment. Me and Dad love getting around to those when we can, reading all those and responding to those as well. If you like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check us out on our social media channels. We have an X page, we have an Instagram page, and you can also listen to us over on Spotify now as well. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button so you don't miss any future content all about Birmingham City. And myself and Dad will see you on the next video.